Yo, what is good, YouTube? What's up, PlayStation Nation? Jay Bari here, and I'm back with another video here to talk about some more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news number 5. So we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII and all the previews that happened throughout TGS, Tokyo Game Show, where we had people that were on the show floor. Like shout out to my bro Genki, you know what I mean, really appreciate all the information that he's been posting up, and I'm very, very happy and proud for Genki, being at TGS and getting his just due for all the hard work that he's been putting in, doing the translations and all that stuff for Japanese games. So big shout out to my bro Genki out there in TGS. So we're going to be talking about that. We got Audrey as well. Audrey does a wonderful job translating and, putting all the information in like one tweet that the developers and all the interviews that happened throughout all the publications. And then we have impressions from YouTube content creators. Maximilian Dude is one of my favorite content creators, where he spoke about the game as far as his preview opinions and thoughts. And then he also went in another video when it comes to combat. So Square Enix did a wonderful job here. That's a collective article bringing up all of the information here. So the hands-on impressions from publications, the IGNs, the Eurogamers, Inverse, Game Informer, GameSpot, all the typical, websites that we know of. And, Hamaguchi, Yoshinori Kitase, Nomura, they going in there, development team talking to the publications with interviews. So there's also interviews as well that we're going to bring up. Like I have the IGN one pulled up here that we're going to bring up. But a great thing that they did here is that they put a spotlight in all of the content creators that got to play the game, where Square Enix flew out, content creators and influencers to play the game, and give their thoughts on the demo as well, outside of the people that just playing it at TGS. And this is great, man, because there's a lot of new content creators that I never heard of, but due to their love of Final Fantasy and whatnot, and now, keeping up to date with all of the previews and whatnot, now I know, like, oh, this is a cool YouTuber. I never knew about this person, but this person loves Final Fantasy VII. I love Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to subscribe. You know what I mean? If you love Final Fantasy VII, I already love you. It's just a brotherly, sisterly love that's going on. So they got Maximilian's preview, gameplay, and all that stuff here, which we're going to be going over this video. Hopefully I don't get in trouble with Max. I really enjoy Maximilian content because a lot of things that he do speak about, it correlates with myself. So, there's a lot of things that he highlighted that I just want to, give a further opinion, from my perspective or whatnot about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that's the only reason why I'm using Max video. I don't want to use it to like that's taking his content and whatnot. I just want to, there's certain things that he showed that I just want to further elaborate on or give, my personal opinion, because he did a great job in both videos as per usual. You got Easy Allies here. You got Jesse Cox, the Skoldarin's Baby Seal. This was a wonderful video, in my personal opinion. I didn't know about this YouTuber here, but watching this video, I was like, oh yeah, I'm subscribed easily. You know what I mean? Aru, big Final Fantasy VII fan. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised there. Curious Joy, she's really cool, very, very warm-hearted person. I definitely enjoyed her video as well. Pretty much these videos right here I watched. I didn't watch the Mr. Happy one yet. Easy Now. I did watch Frankie. Shout out to Frankie. And I did watch Sarah Key's in preview video as well. So there's a lot of cool content creators here that, shout out to Square Enix for shouting them out and putting some limelight and highlighting, people's, opinions on the game. And speaking of the opinions and the previews or whatnot, it seems like it's very, very positive right now as far as how people feel, about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There was only one opinion I could say that was like, it was pretty spotty. Not saying that it was a bad game, but the demo itself didn't really do it for them. And that was the kind of funny with Tim Geddes. But that's the only one I really felt like or saw that the person, didn't really jam well with the demo. They're not saying the game is bad, so people don't attack the man, but they're just saying the demo itself didn't really, gel with him as far as like, okay, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, this is a great showing. But yeah, we're gonna go over a lot of information here. I also want to say that when it comes to this game, we're doing the previews. We're going to talk about the previews and the hands-on impressions and all that stuff. But there's also a video that I'm going to be making where I'm going to be talking about my own theories, because there's information now that is coming out where my theory about what's going on or what's going to happen with Rebirth, I can see that even more prevalent now with how I was feeling, before, with the first trailer or even with the last trailer where they had that little question there. But we're going to do a separate video. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. But let's go into Audrey's tweet here, where she just highlighting a lot of developer interview thoughts and answers that to the questions that was being asked, and let's go over them, man. So we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the main story will take about 40 hours to complete. They're just spitballing here. In my opinion, I think the game is going to take much longer. I mean, they said the same thing with remake, but remake, when I was finally done with remake, it was about 70 something hours when I was done with remake. I mean, doing all of the side missions, majority of the stuff. I mean, it was about 70 something hours. Then the playthroughs, multiple playthroughs after that with hard mode and whatnot. But they're saying here, side content racks up to up to 100 hours. And I definitely can see that for sure, especially from what Maximilian was saying in his video. So this is great to hear. This is great to see. This is typically around the clock time about a Final Fantasy game anyway. The golden saucer date scenes will have the same sex and opposite sex options. So it looked like they're probably going to add more than just Barrett as a possible date, because I don't know if they said it, they're changing um positions and stuff like that with the game, or when you get to meet certain locations in the game. But this is not really nothing new. It's just saying that this option is here once again, because there was in the OG game you can actually end up in a date with Barrett, depending on all the dialogue tree stuff that you're going through. The Golden also will have the 7 areas, just like the OG, which is amazing. This is a common theme here, with a lot of previews and a lot of information that I'm reading. That there's a lot of things just like the OG, but just much more grander. The scale is much bigger. It might be in a different positioning, or you might get to there differently, but overall, just like the OG, you're going to hear that a lot, which is great. That's what I want. I want new stuff, but I still want that similarity, that nostalgic feel with my favorite game of all time. Vincent will be a playable cat. Vincent will be playable in the third game. Rebirth gameplay for them will be similar to Red 13 and Final Fantasy VII remake. So this is something that we kind of confirmed already. We kind of spoke about this already when it came to Rebirth, where after I did a breakdown of the reveal date trailer, or the release date trailer, and in the blog, Nomura, he was asked a question about Vincent, and he kind of alluded to the fact that Vincent will be an accompanied character, no different than Red 13. And the difference is, when it came to his answer, he said characters. So he said you'll meet up with all the characters that you typically would meet in Final Fantasy in this portion of this part of the game. So that's including Sid, but Vincent is confirmed to be a company character, and we can assume the same thing when it comes to Sid as well. So they're saying here that Vincent and Yuffie will be fully incorporated into the story to add depth to the characters' relationship, which is great. 2 characters that were optional in the original game is going to be fully incorporated within the story. So that's great. I love Yuffie. I love Vincent. 2 characters that I truly adore. And I mean, I personally think when it comes to Vincent, we're probably going to get like a intermission episode like Yuffie did, because Vincent, there's a lot of backstory. There's a lot of things with Lucrezia and Hojo and all that stuff that leads up to him, sleeping and slumbering in the coffin. That I would love to see how that is panning out, or that playthrough will be like in a remake type format. You know what I mean? So I'm all for. I do think that's going to happen after Rebirth comes out. They will announce that type of DLC. Nomura cannot confirm nor deny that the story takes place in a parallel world. I mean, Nomura, come on. Come on. We know you. We've been playing these games for a long time. We know what you're doing. You know what I mean? One thing with Nomura, man, he definitely loves fan feedback, and he listens to the fan base. Nomura, if you guys play Kingdom Hearts, if you guys are tapped in with that series, without hesitation, he will bring a character back. And people love Zack. Zack is a very popular character. They're finding some way to bring Zack right back into the Final Fantasy VII universe, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But Rebirth will have a lot of surprises in the story. We're going to talk about that in our theory and predictions video, which will be pretty much right after this video. But there's a lot more I want to talk about when it comes to this, especially when it comes to Zack, Aerith, Cloud, and all that stuff in the game. The story will end at the Forgotten Capital, but the events will lead up to it will not necessarily be the same order as the OG. Makes sense. There's a lot of things that they're changing up. And we're going to see that in Maximilian's video too, especially when it comes to like Fort Condor and stuff like that. But yeah, this is something that they've been hammering home for the longest. That there's going to be this is Final Fantasy VII, but the way how we tell the story is going to be bits and pieces where it's just going to be moved around. You know what I mean? To surprise you, to have you thinking. But typically, this is a Final Fantasy VII game. There will be mysteries that will unfold along the story that primarily follows the OG. Follows the OG. Great, love it. That's what I'm here for. That's the stuff I want to dig into, dive into it, indulge myself into it. I want it. There will be new characters in the story as well as characters from the OG that will be familiar with. Zack's side story is completely new and not in the OG at all, which makes sense. A lot of customizations and functionality with the chocobos and exploring the environment, which we are seeing a lot when it comes to these previews and people's thoughts on the game. So shout out to Audrey with a great highlights here. But there's certain things that I want to talk about as well when it comes to IGN's thing. Well, I wonder if I should save the IGN thing for my other video. You know? Fast example. Okay, so they said so from the preview session, it was very clear that although the path is familiar, there are slight changes. For example, the way Yuffie is introduced into the party. We can expect to see more moments like this that subvert the expectations from players who know the past story. And this is something that they spoke about a lot, but it just, reconfirming a lot of the things that they say. Maybe people forgot, people are new to the information now. Okay, so to comment on sort of the differences from the original work, one point that the order of certain events of the storyline may differ from the original. Some may appear, or some may appear, or some way than what happens in the original. But overall, Rebirth will tell the story of the Forgotten Capital sequence and overall follow the original story. It's kind of crazy because as much as I was talking about this game and telling people about this game, Twitter Spaces, Twitter, YouTube videos, I've always been saying this stuff, where people was worried about where they're going to take the story. There's so much changes, especially with the remake. But these are things that they've been saying for like 2 years now. You know what I mean? They were saying this for the longest, especially when they was talking about the sequel before it was called Rebirth and whatnot. They've been saying this for the longest. But as far as how characters join the party, like with Yuffie, as you mentioned, has been reimagined in a way that's sort of better suited for modern audiences. Furthermore, as you know, within the original Final Fantasy VII, the character Zack Fair is the one that doesn't appear as much in the original title. However, we see that in the remake he has appeared, which is quite different from the original title. And as for Rebirth, there will be a new episode with Zack that will contain even more of him than in remake. I'm not able to say much more than this, as I would like players to play and experience this with it in their own hands. So yeah, they're just pretty much confirming here that there's going to be more playable sequences. There's going to be an episode of Zach in the game, which makes sense because we're trying to figure out what is going on, what's the parallel universes, the timeline that's going on when it comes to Zach. Zach is always a fun character. You know, there's a reason why they remastered reunion with Crisis Core and whatnot, because they want to show you that, hey, Zach is amazing. And yeah, I definitely want to see that clash, you know, with Cloud and with Zach. Um, but yeah, like I said, we're gonna talk about this theory, man, because this is giving me justification here as far as the things that I'm thinking about. You know, what I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right here. Everything else here is pretty much the stuff that, you know, Audrey was highlighting here. But they did speak about something else that I want to bring up here. Sent myself a message. This is Hamaguchi speaking about the world map. So speaking of the world map and expanded play space, is that something that all the interconnect is that something that's all interconnected, or is it more of a world map system where you can travel to different regions at any time? Hamaguchi responds, says, that's a great question. That's something that I really wanted people to ask me. What we've done is we've taken the world map from the original Final Fantasy VII, but we've created it all in one to one real scale. So they're pretty much doing a real scale of the original OG map, but just certain towns or whatnot probably been replaced or whatnot as far as where the original places were. Um, so all of the dungeons, all of the cities, and everything that the world is now included in the same space, one seamless map. So they pretty much confirming this is open world. Just like the original game, when you get out of Midgar, this is open world. It gets really, really open when you get the Highwind and whatnot, but you know, you get certain, you know, vehicles and whatnot where you can travel and make your way around the world, or you take the ship to travel back to Junar, to Costa del Sol, and things like that. But this is a full open world, man. It is not the hub world that, you know, we a lot of people was assuming and whatnot. This is a full open world here that they're confirming here, um for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. So very, very happy about that. But last but not least, let's talk about Maximilian's preview here, where, like I said, I don't really want to show everything, but there's certain things that Max was talking about here. And here he's talking about the opening sequence.
Biggest core contributor of the plot of Final Fantasy VII, the events of Nibelheim. Yeah, it is essentially you and Cloud and younger Tifa all going up to the reactor, and purposely serves as the tutorial, at least the part that we were playing, for the beginning of Final Fantasy VII.
So that is really dope right there. The fact that they're using this flashback as like a tutorial for the game, because this is a completely new game. This is a new experience. You know, they said that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a game that new players can come into and play. You know what I mean? You don't have to play remake, which, you know, I highly suggest you play remake. But if you coming into this, if this is your first game, you can come into this and play it. So it makes sense that they will use this portion where they're telling the story in calm as far as what happened, and you know how Sephiroth turned cold or whatnot, from Cloud's quote unquote perspective, and using that as a tutorial to teach you how the new mechanics, the materia, the synergy system, the switching of characters, all of that here in the game. And what is one of the best ways and the best characters to do that with? You got Cloud and Sephiroth here, which everybody's saying that Sephiroth is such a great experience to play with. You know what I mean? Where there's a lot of levels and layers to his combat. You know, he got stances, he got the magic, he got the synergy stuff, he got the range, he got the warp dashes, which is great. Another thing that they said here, you know, what Max and, you know, everybody's saying here is that everybody has a dodge button now, a comparable dodge button now, where you press circle and you actually are dodging incoming attacks. Also, a big keynote is that everyone has parry. There's a parry button now with guard. So if you guard, if you hit the guard button right as an enemy attack, you will parry the enemy's attack. And there's actual just frames with the parry, so you get like a perfect parry within Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That just got me overjoyed, yo. Hearing that, especially when it comes to like, because Cloud Strife is my favorite character. He was my favorite in Remake as well. Cloud is pretty OP, man. Like if you get perfect parry, then you go into like Revenger mode and all that stuff, all the damage you can cash out. Oh my goodness. So every character has a dodge, every character has a parry, and that just sounds amazing to me. Let's continue here.
Rebirth. So, how could we expect this sequence to play out? Well, funny enough, this portion of the demo plays out fairly similar to Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's pretty linear, it's dungeon-like, and it is getting you acclimated to the controls of the characters. The fun.
Okay, so there's some things I wanted to highlight here. Oh well, no, we'll highlight it in the other portion. But I think he's going to talk about the scalability. So Cloud, as we can see here, he's acting pretty much like Zack. You know, what I mean, from the previews and all the gameplay that I've seen. You know, his personality, his characteristics is very much like Zack. You know, he's confused and all that stuff. You know, Mako is definitely played with my boy's mind and brain, where he think that he was the first class soldier rather than the Shinra grunt that followed him. You know what I mean? So it's very funny to see that, but it's also cool to see that now in this remake perspective of Cloud. But
and yeah, there's a new scaling button that characters have. I think it's circle, where you can climb up walls. Anything that is.
So that's pretty cool. So you can just scale things within the game, which is something new, man, for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Approximately like chest high to like head high. You can.
So this is something new here. Like this is like a new aggro system here that alerts yourself, like if you're aggroing the enemies, where it's like you saw this whole red bar.
Approximately like chest high to like head.
Right here. So it's letting you know the enemies where they at. And once it gets to full circle, you're pretty much in combat. But yeah, this is, I don't really want to show any more of this video. I just want to go into like the open world aspect now. Because I'm pretty sure you guys watch the previews and seen the whole, you know, Cloud and Sephiroth thing, which I'm super excited about. I would love to break down this stuff, but I just don't want to, you know, take so much content of somebody that it's not my content.
Essentially puts us right in front of Junon Harbor and a little bit of an explorative area. And I say a little bit because comparatively, it's actually pretty small. But weirdly enough, for what they set up and
man, look how everybody looks, man. It just looks super good. You know, Max, shout out to Max uploading the 4K content as well. But yeah, everybody just looks amazing, man. This is all in game.
What they give you in this zone, it is very mitigated. Like it is small. There's borders, there's demo borders all over the place that say you
can see everybody going to Junon. Well, these guys right here, the reunion. You know, definitely there is Genova here because she's going to be on the ship as well. Sephiroth is baiting everybody over here, so they just continue following whatever Genova is, where her cells are. But this is some cool stuff here. Nice little detail going on. It looked like a Shinra recruit system here, with the soldier. There was a moment in the game where I thought I saw the Highwing. This could be the Highwing. It's like a regular plane. But in the original trailer, the release date trailer, it was like around here. The Highwind ship was like a real small little glimpse of it. It was around here. But this is the Junon area. This looks dope. It looks amazing.
Can't go here. But even with that, you could spend 40 to 45 minutes in this area kind of doing everything. And
just look at that, man. All this stuff you can scale too. And then you have your chocobos that you can climb the walls or whatnot. I don't know if the chocobos can climb like these walls right here. There's like you know, lines or whatnot pointing as far as okay, you can climb up this with the chocobo, and they have that as well, like kind of like a Horizon Uncharted kind of thing as well. When it comes to like the characters itself, but yeah, this Max is saying 45 minutes because he's playing the demo, but me when this game comes out, I'm gonna be, because he's talking about a whole bunch of secrets and all that. I'm gonna be here all day, every day. You know what I mean?
And the funny part about it is that I got an opportunity to go through this demo several times. And every single
Oh, so yeah, there you go.
time I found something new, I discovered something different I could do, and I was sort of surprised that this was possible. I can't tell you.
Look at the chocobos, man. Fiend sighting. So look like this hunts right here. Your objective. Man, this is just gorgeous, man. Like when I was watching this video, like I legit was like probably like what 1 o'clock in the morning, and I legit couldn't sleep. I was watching this video like 3 times. I can't even tell you, I can't even lie to you.
Tell you how excited that makes me. So let's talk about it just a little bit. It's an area right outside of Junon and going to the town that
Man, look at that, man. Look at that.
Junon Harbor, where you eventually are going to fight the boss fight. You know,
There goes Priscilla. You know, I saw pictures of Priscilla right here. Saw the dolphin as well. They did have the bottom swell boss fight as well. I think they called it something different, like Terror of the Deep or something like that now. But this is the bottom city of like Junon, man. It looks pretty dope. Looks pretty new. Looks pretty different. It's no longer just, you know, the house here in the beginning. You got two other houses here. Then you have this house on top of this house, and it just looks like the slums a little bit, but it looks dope.
no save Priscilla. All that stuff is still there, which is great. But what's
Oh, we heard Priscilla's voice. Oh, so this is the hunt stuff that it was talking about. Well, Max and Yo Video Games on his Yo Video Game channel. I forgot his name, but I know his name, but I can't say right now. They spoke about this whole hunt system and, you know, the other little objectives as far as when you do the hunts and whatnot. Just amazing gameplay stuff, man. You know what I mean? So we're not going to go over this was all over here, but what I do want to highlight here, let me move my camera, is what I want to highlight here is the HUD. Looks a little different here. Well, not really different, but you have the issue commands. You know, I'm a person where I love the command menu. I like the slow down. I like the movement, but you still have that actiony stuff where you can have your shortcuts and whatnot. You see right here, this is a new button, evade. Everybody has the evade. They have the guard and synergy skills. So using your synergy skills doesn't cost you ATB. I think you have to build up ATB or use abilities to unlock it or something like that, they said. But at the end of the day, once you have that stuff ready, it doesn't cost ATB to use. And everybody have like different like dual attacks and different buffs and different like passive stuff that's going on again. There's so much deep stuff that they spoke about when it came to combat. It is crazy. Which I'm loving, and I'm like chomping at the bit to really go in, but I really want to show my own stuff. You know, I don't want to take people's stuff because I know that can be weird when it comes to YouTube. But command shortcuts, so that's the shortcut button is still there. The lock on with R3, Punisher mode is still here. Attack, the stuff that we saw in remake. What's great is that this little notch thing here, this little node or little dash things right here. Now I finally learned that this is for the synergy attacks, so the synergy specials. So you build up these little notches here, then they highlight. And once you have a certain amount of highlight or whatnot, there's certain like synergy attacks or specials you can do. It's not the synergy skill from the guard button. So when you guard, you can do the synergy skill with another partner or teammate. But this is like the big AOE attacks that we've seen in the trailers and whatnot. This is that meter right here is what I wanted to show off. Because I remember like, you know, questioning like, what does this meter, what does that do? But then we finally learn what it does, and it's for the synergy stuff.
more important it was what happens outside of that zone. And yes, you have the original Final Fantasy VII before Junon Harbor, or you could. So already there's some pretty fascinating things, and yeah, as you get
I think he pretty much like confirmed here that you know, certain towns or certain locations are in different, you know, parts of the world. And here he was talking about Fort Condor because there was a conversation that he was having, Cloud and Red 13 was having, and it was talking about. So I'm gonna play that just to give a gist of what he's saying here.
Hints that from characters right off the bat that things like Fort Condor exist and they are out there.
There's a story about a great condor said to roost on an island's abandoned reactor, though there's no longer any way to reach the isle, or at least none that I'm aware of.
They just finally reclaiming what Shinra stole.
But they're inaccessible and they're different and they've been moved from what was the game before.
Oh, he just called the chocobo. Look at the customization that you can do with the chocobo. So yeah, that just confirms that certain locations are has moved because Fort Condor is before Junon. So that's just great. And I that's one thing I love about the the remake game. Those conversations. I love all games like that, RPG games, adventure games that have those conversations within you're just exploring and walking around the world. It just keeps everything upbeat and tempo is just right when it comes to that stuff. But one thing I want to say too when it comes to the combat is that so you have your typical three characters that you have in the main active party, but the two remaining characters like Tifa and Barrett, they are still doing things in combat, like running around. They're not really doing crazy damage. It's just more like fodder stuff, but it's just cool to see that they're still doing actions. It's not just, oh, they're just sitting just like, they're doing actual actions that just is a part of the whole game. So I love the fact that they added that stuff in there. And speaking of like the synergy stuff and synergy attacks, that they incorporate like air combat within the game as well, where Cloud has a move where he throws Tifa up in the sky. So that's like one of his or one of their synergy skill attacks. And it just helps you with like airborne stuff. It looks like it seems like they have done more when it comes to airborne combat and whatnot. But it's just cool options to have that, oh, this enemy's up here, I can just launch you up and whatnot, which is dope. I think he shows some more like combat stuff here as well. Oh, menus. So this is the menu of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I like it. I like it a lot. You know what I mean? We have this new transmuter. I guess you can create like potions and other items and whatnot things within the game from collecting all of this materials and whatnot, which is dope and amazing. The materia and equipment stuff is still there. I think they said they kind of changed up the materia. I don't know if the materia still has that whole or is it the weapons that have like that whole level up system thing? But the material system is still there. They got new material, whatnot. They got a combat setting, spells, inventory party. Let's see what he says about the material, the actual menu. This is dope stuff.
A completely different game that was Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, the scorpion head. Okay, cool. But yeah, this is the customization that it was talking about here with the whole chocobos.
Remake. You get a little bit of this taste of what Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is, and even this small truncated.
Oh, nice.
Little bit of this taste of what Final Fantasy VII.
So we can see some of the magic abilities that Red already have equipped to him. Comet, Bravery, Faith, Bio, Thundara, Thunder. This is exactly what we're talking about. This was the stuff that we want from a Final Fantasy game. When it comes to these spells in here. But yeah, just having the explanation and all that stuff is really, really cool. You see everybody's MP stuff right here. The menu does look like it's very streamlined and it looks very fun and engaging just to be around it and play around with, in my opinion. I did like the menu in Remake. It was definitely more of a safe menu, you know what I mean? More of a plain Jane type menu, but it got the job done. But I like when they add like, stuff like this. You see the character moving around the back or you see the character, who you're talking to. I like stylistic menus, and this is very stylistic in Final Fantasy VII way, especially in the remake way.
VII Rebirth is, and even this small truncated zone.
Then you have Barry, saying he's blink. Yeah, I love that stuff, man. Barry is more like the tank, so you're gonna have the barrier, the cure, the cure, D shell, D protect, Man Award. Ooh, okay, man. I'm very happy. I'm very pleased of what I'm seeing here.
Of what the game is even going to offer gives me enough that I.
More menu stuff here. Level 21. Okay.
I was still exploring things and
Okay, so this is the inventory. So we do see the weapons, and it looks like they do have the proficiency. Oh, so proficiency bonus of the Buster Sword, staggering an enemy, and you learn the focus thrust. So the things that was in remake, it seems like it's back here, which I like that stuff. They had that in Crisis Core Reunion as well. It just gave you a more incentive to use this weapon, learn all of it. But the thing that's cool in remake is that everything that you like learn, you max out the proficiency of the weapon, it carries over to the other gun. So it looks like everybody here in the demo, it looked like they maxed out the proficiency of all their weapons here. Mithril collar, guard stick, leather gloves, Gatling. So this is dope. You see the attack, you see the magic, the defense, and all that stuff, and you see the abilities that it comes with
digging stuff up with chocobos
with a video. Nice.
and doing all of this wild stuff that I was genuinely surprised by.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about in the release date trailer breakdown, where this portion of the game is really what makes Final Fantasy VII. And this is the reason why I love the game. You have your serious moments, but you also have these nice, compelling moments where you're on chocobos, traveling the world, you're doing mini games, you're learning secrets and whatnot, and it's all that stuff is still in the game. I love how Aerith and Red 13 is sitting on the chocobo. Aerith, she's just sitting like, all fancy, and Red is like trying his best to really like ride his chocobo. And there's like a chocobo following them right here as well. That's a regular yellow chocobo following them, which is crazy. Well, I like how Aerith is sitting here. Oh, the music.
There's a ton of ways to engage with this environment, and I want to go over it because it deserves its own video. There are
Yes. This is why I love Maximilian videos, man. Because he's gonna go into the nitty-gritty.
so many individual unique details that you can do in Rebirth
So dope, man. So dope.
that it's worth going over everyone and describing how it works. But just going over the mechanical stuff, it's great to have characters like fighting with each other, right?
Okay, so here we're seeing some more combat stuff. Slow down tactical mode. Remake is like the best combat in RPGs history, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? From the ones I've experienced and played, and I played a lot, I love the battle system in Remake, the mixture of the both worlds of the turn-based and the action, combat. Something that we did call from the beginning. Everybody doubted your boy. And then all of a sudden, when the new trailer came out, it's like, oh, it's a hybrid system. One of these days we'll prove that. That's to showcase that again. But I love the tactical mode in the remake, and it's back here again. But there's a lot of things on top of what they have already done in remake that got me really, really excited about this game.
It's great to see team up attacks of these characters working together. The way you utilize them is also super smart. You use your ATB charges and it contributes to them, building them up, where each character can now execute big team-based flashy moves. They gave you flashy moves to work with other characters that costs no ATB.
Look at the damage.
So there's no longer moments where you're just sitting in fights.
Oh, so there it is right there. What I was talking about, where Cloud and Tifa does a synergy attack, where he just hurls Tifa into the sky.
Flashy moves.
What is it called? There's one that they did with Red called Sidewinder.
And it contributes.
Okay, so let's slow this part down here. So they're going into the synergy stuff. So we have Spell, Blade, and Power Cleave for Aerith and for Tifa. And it looks like they're doing Power Cleave here. I completely whiffed. Oh, no, he's not done. He's still going. Oh, now it's active. Now it's active. So all you got to do is press the R1 and whatever face button. And look, tag team right here, synergy skill info. So you can get that stuff right in combat. Man, these guys know what to do, man. Oh yeah, Cloud is a zipping. Stagger bonus, so you learn about stagger here. There's like multiple different stagger stuff now. There's something like pressure now. See, pressure an opponent, stagger an opponent. So they bring in more layers into the game. Siphon Fang. You know, we spoke about Red 13 and his mechanics in the game. But now we got some new stuff here. We have Sidewinder, Stardust. Oh, this is all Red 13's attacks. Sidewinder, Stardust Ray, Sentinel Stance, and Crescent Claw. Nice. I like how the menus look, man. It looks dope. I like this little highlighted look. You know what I mean? The original game, everything was like one tone color, but now you know that you're going into your skills here. You know what I mean? Or you using your shortcuts here? It's like a different menu that's popping up. Looks dope, man. Braver is still there. Focus, Thrush, Triple Slash, Firebolt Blade. And the instant switching. Oh my god, man. I can't wait, guys. I can't wait, man. I just want to see that synergy attack, what it's called, for Tifa and Cloud. We got Tifa, Omni Strike. So here it is with Tifa and Cloud. We got Sorin Flurry and Heavenly Ascent with Aerith. So I think they do the Sorin Flurry here. Yep. Sorin Flurry. And I like the names is going on top of here too, giving you a distinction. You just did Sorin Flurry. And he just hurls you up in the air, and Tifa is just doing air combos. Oh man. Oh man. It looked like you could do the Omni Strike here too. Look like you got this thing locked in. She is kicking. Oh, there it is. There it is. The enemy move, death from above. I love the fact that enemies are just like more upscaled and much more dangerous now in Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. I love that, man. Typical enemies that you just see in the world. Like these guys have so much HP and the stagger system now. This is dope.
Have actions at all times that contribute to your ATB gauge. It's great.
Oh, he did it again. Stagger. So that move looked like it does some stagger. Press the view tutorial. I hope we can just hide that stuff, especially when you so far into the game now. You know what I mean?
And not to mention, going around the environment and discovering things is so much fun. Like,
okay, so one thing I just want to showcase here again is where he showed the menu.
Of interest that the game gives you. It tells you all this stuff. Hey, there's a lot of world here. If you want to go check
great
it out,
great editing, Max. There's more of the menus here.
Completely missable.
Ooh, morph. I saw a morph.
This stuff. Hey, there's a lot of world here. If you want to go check it out.
Command abilities. Yo, I love this, man. I love how it looks so different.
It is
it looks same, but it looks different. Assist morph. Oh, nice. So this is definitely, you know, the material that you got equipped here.
Missable. And I love that because it was the stuff that was.
So here in this portion of his preview, he's just talking about the exploration and, you know, the incentive. They're incentivizing so much to just explore the world and find out what's going on here. You hear it. You don't have to go right away to Junon. You can just explore these ships and all that stuff. And he spoke about something really, really cool here, where he spoke about you know, swimming in the game. And I just wanted you guys to hear this part, and then we'll close it up from there.
To describe in just a brief moment before I make 2 more videos talking about combat and exploration. There was this moment where I was sitting with Simmons and we were looking at like a
Simmons.
viewpoint, and it was the ocean and there was an island out there and there was a busted ship on the island, and we're like, dude, there's like a pirate ship out there. What the heck is going on? Like an ancient ship that was just like discarded because ship.
Yo, one thing Max did in his reaction video to like the state of play thing, he was like, "Oh, a pirate ship." He definitely called that out quick.
Made their big stuff on the mountain. We had this moment where it'd be like, dang, it'd be so great if we could just swim out there. And then we scaled the rocks. We went down.
You know, this is a special moment for Max, the way how he set it up.
Every single party member jump into the water,
and everybody can swim.
And we started swimming to this island in the middle of nowhere.
Look at the animations. Look.
And we were rewarded.
And the water looks so good. You know, he's talking about the exploration and get rewarded for exploring the stuff. But man, this is so exciting seeing that, man, because this is not something that we are privy to or known when it comes to Final Fantasy VII. You know what I mean? Everything that had to do with water, we had to be on either Tiny Bronco or, you know, a submarine or, you know, stuff like that, where now there's just areas in the game that you can like fully just go into the water and swim into. You know, we definitely seen some of that with, you know, they was talking about the bottom swell boss fight, and we seen Cloud in the water with the dolphin and whatnot. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing to see that stuff. The care and the level of detail that they put into the game. I just love it, man. So big shout out to everyone at Square Enix. You know, I'm loving what I'm hearing. Yeah, I legit, I was so giddy this whole day. Like legit, guys, I had no sleep. The only time I had a little semblance of sleep was at my lunch break, which it was, I only slept for probably like half an hour. Then my alarm went off because I was still just searching for more information and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm just so excited to see all the news and everything that people are talking about when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it myself, so I can, you know, talk about it from, from my own experience. But big shout out to everyone that got their hands onto it and giving out their preview videos. You guys are doing a great job, and I'm loving. I'm loving. I love hearing the different opinions from everyone around the community when it comes to this game, Final Fantasy VII. That means a lot to me. So 2024 is going to be a good one, man. We're going to talk about a lot more during What's Up PlayStation podcast this Saturday. So hopefully we see you there. But we're going to end the video here, man. Like I said, I'm going to do another video talking about some theories and stuff like that. My predictions as far as how the story is going to go. Hopefully you guys enjoy that one, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video. And I'll catch you guys next time. It's your boy Jay Bari. I'm gone. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you really, really enjoyed, subscribe. Deuces.